Hello, my name is Zainab, and today I will be talking about collaborative grouping. The first thing you need to do for collaborative grouping is decide how you will group your students. I plan to use several student entrance inventories to get to know my students better. I can find out their abilities, how they like to learn, what they enjoy doing in their free time, and so much more. I will then use that information to group my students. Below, I have included 2 links for the types of surveys that I will use. After collecting data on my students, I will then group them. I will have 4 table groups, each sitting 5 students. Each table group will then have a different colored plate that will stay placed in the center. Red will be students that like to work quietly and or on the floor. Blue will be students that like to work individually or in pairs. Green will be students that enjoy math and science. And white will be students that are kinesthetic and like to work with noise. Keep in mind that it's up to you to decide the types and size of each group. After determining the type and size of each group, next you have to decide on the group spacing. I will have the red group near the classroom library, the blue beside the red group, green in the center of the classroom, and white near the back of the classroom. Remember, it's important to have adequate spacing for each group. Lastly, make sure your students know how to identify their groups. My students can check their groups by viewing the whiteboard. There will be a laminated colored paper for each table group. Beside each colored paper will be the students' names. Roles, parts, and numbers for assignments can be determined by students drawing them from the plate on their table group. I will cut out strips of papers with roles on them, and each student will draw them from their table. If problems arise, I will go around and have students draw from a plastic container. Changes can later be made to the groups if students are not collaborating well. Keep in mind that sometimes change is a good thing. Here I have the grade level and standards of my students. The grade levels and standards will vary among teachers. Let's say for math, students will be comparing 2-digit numbers using the less than, greater than, or equal symbol. I will go around and pass out number symbols to each group. Students will then each draw numbers from their table plate and take turns comparing their number with every single member of their group. In science, students will discuss characteristics and basic needs of plants and animals. First, students will draw from the table to determine if they will get characteristics of animals, basic needs of animals, characteristics of plants, basic needs of plants, or basic needs of plants and animals. Next, students will draw again from numbers 1 through 5 to determine the order of who will share first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. In English, students will do a think, pair, share method to describe characters, settings, and major events in a story using key details. Students will draw numbers to decide the pairing and ordering of presenting. Numbers 1, 3, and 5 will work together, and numbers 2 and 4 will work together. Afterwards, students will take turns sharing to the whole group. For science, students will also use the think, pair, share method and the same steps provided above to describe how people are both producers and consumers. There are many ways to implement collaborative grouping in your classroom. I hope that mine has been helpful. Thank you for watching and listening.